Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It's June 28th, 2023. There's a lot of news today coming out of Barcelona. Starting with that, La Liga have handed Barcelona a transfer boost during this summer transfer market. Also, the Qataris are offering Barcelona 120 million euros so they can have a franchise team in Qatar. And finally, the club have received an official offer for Franck Kessie. We have a lot to discuss, so let's dive right into it. Welcome, everybody. My name is Mo. Welcome to the Barca News' live stream, which is every Monday and Wednesday at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I will put timestamps in the description and put chapters in the timeline for those of you who like the shorter content that will help you navigate through these longer streams or longer videos. Also, as always, I'll do one bit of news, then we'll head to the comment section to get a discussion going. And finally, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way in helping this channel continue to grow so I can continue bringing you all the most up-to-date Barcelona news. All right, so let's start with the news. We'll talk about Barcelona as an institution first, and then we'll talk about all the transfer rumors. And we'll start with that La Liga have handed Barcelona a transfer boost during the summer transfer market because they have implemented changes to the financial fair play rule restrictions. Now, you might ask, what are these changes? Well, right now, or previously under La Liga rules, if a club was above their wage limit, they would go down to the 40% rule, which would mean they would only be able to use 40% of any money they generate to sign new players. That's exactly what the rule that Barcelona was under. Since Barcelona are over their wage limit or spending more than what La Liga are allowing them to, they were under the 40% rule, which meant that they could only use 40% of money they generate to sign new players. So if Barcelona were to sell someone, let's say for 100 million euros, they would only be able to use 40 million out of those 100 towards signing new players. Now, La Liga have changed the financial fair play rule restrictions to say that any club who are above their salary limit would go down to the 50% rule, so they increased it by 10%. So that means that Barcelona will be able to use 50% of any money they generate to sign new players. Of course, 10% might not be a lot, but given the club's tight financial situation, is definitely a help. And right now, given the financial situation of the club, any help is welcomed. So hopefully this will help Barcelona, navigate the market a little bit better. It's obviously not going to open the doors for us to sign whoever we want. We're not going to sign Mbappe and Bernardo Silva and Haaland tomorrow because of that increased 10%. But it's a small help. But of course, any help is appreciated. Now, let's talk about Barcelona specifically because today there was an important meeting of the board of directors. It was kind of an emergency meeting to discuss several things, starting with the exits, because the financial year ends on June 30th. That's when all the clubs close their financial year and they submit it to La Liga. And based on that financial year, how much money they generated, how much money they lost, etc., that's when La Liga issues the new wage limits for this summer transfer market. So Barcelona have 2 more days before they have to close their fiscal year and present it to La Liga. And then we're really hoping to offload at least 1, maybe 2 players. So that money that they generate after that exit, they can count it in that fiscal year. And that way, La Liga would hand them a better wage limit for the summer transfer market, which, by the way, hasn't started yet. It will not open until July 1st. I know a lot of people are always commenting like, oh, we're not offloading players, we're not signing players, etc. Guys, calm down. The summer transfer market hasn't even opened yet. It doesn't open till July 1st. Now, during this meeting, one of the things that was discussed was the bond. I mentioned this in a previous video, but in that viability plan that Barcelona presented to La Liga, there were about 90 million euros that La Liga were not too sure about how Barcelona came up with that math. There was doubts about it. So Barcelona were off by 90 million euros in their feasibility plan. And in a response, Joan Laporta and other members of the board of directors offered to put their own money down as a bond or as an insurance, which means that Barcelona are telling La Liga, hey, trust us, this math is correct. We do have enough money to spend on everything we said we're going to spend on. But in case we don't, in case the math is off, here we have Joan Laporta, here we have these other board of directors who are willing to cover the difference from their own pockets. Of course, it's not the first time Laporta has done that. He's done it in the past. It just shows his commitment to the club, that he's willing to put money from his own pocket to make sure Barcelona achieve the goals that they achieve. And while the goals that they're trying to achieve is, of course, register the contracts of all those players they've renewed, such as Araujo, Balde, Marcos Alonso, Sergio Roberto, not Gabi, because Gabi was registered already. So in this board of director meetings, the bond was discussed. It was approved. So now it's official. Laporta and several members of the board of directors have put money from their own pocket to guarantee to La Liga that they will be able to register those players. And if Barcelona cannot register those players, Laporta and the other board members will put money out of their own pocket. Anyways, so that's kind of like the update about Barcelona's finances / the boost that they got for the summer transfer market. Let's head to the comment section. And next, we'll talk about the huge mega offer that Barcelona have received from Qatar in regards to the franchise team that they want to build. So let's see. Sorry, guys, my nose is really itchy. My allergies are killing me. All right, let's see. Oh, my God, my mouse decided to die. So I'm going to have to use my trackpad, which is not fun. Oh, my God. Brad says, hey, Mo, where you at? I'm over here, Brad. What's up, man? What's up, everybody? Beta says you have a nice beard. Thank you. That's my Arab side. I got it from my dad. It's not really a song. It's usually I got it from my mama, but I guess in this case I got it from my dad. Dark Knight says maybe the new financial rule will make Barca more attractive to prospective players. What do you think? I mean, it'll definitely influence. Someone like Brozovic, who's still waiting, which we will talk about today. He had doubts about whether Barcelona would be able to register his contract. So maybe a news like this would help these players who have doubts about whether Barcelona will be able to register him. Maybe those doubts will dissipate with this news. Okay, Usanga says the most updated Barca news channel. Thank you, Usanga. I do my best. I work really hard. Try to bring you guys the most up-to-date news, and not just the news, but try to double, triple, quadruple check each news, cross-reference it amongst different media outlets, amongst different reporters. I want to bring you guys not just the most up-to-date news, but I want to bring you guys the real, verified news, not just some crap that's going to get me likes and subscriptions. That's not what I'm here for. I want to give you guys the most accurate news. All right, Brad says, is the 40 to 50% increase a sign that La Liga realized that they totally screwed up their financial fair play rules? Yes, because Tebas is noticing that, hey, all talent is going to Premier League. Premier League are kicking our ass left and right because they don't have the ridiculous restrictions that La Liga have. And he's noticed that because Barcelona is not the only club that's suffering, by the way. There's many clubs across the first division who are suffering, like Real Betis, like Valencia. Many, many clubs are suffering. And it's all thanks to these ridiculous financial fair play rule restrictions. So Tebas has noticed that maybe we should loosen them a little bit to be able to compete. Otherwise, La Liga is going to keep going down and down. We used to be the best league, that we dropped to second. Now we're third behind the Bundesliga. I mean, come on. How can we be behind the Bundesliga, who's pretty much one team versus 19 farmer teams, right? But anyways, let's get back to the news because there's a lot of news. And let's talk about that mega, super huge, ridiculous offer that Qatar have made Barcelona. I talked about this in last week's live stream, where I said that when Joan Laporta was in Qatar visiting, kind of trying to work that sponsorship deal with Baladi Express, which is the online shopping platform in Qatar. It's like Amazon, but in Qatar. And Laporta had traveled down there to meet with executives from Baladi Express to kind of negotiate that new sponsorship deal. I reported that during that trip, some businessmen approached Laporta and pitched them the idea that what if Barcelona had a franchise team in the Qatari league? Now, at that point, that's all we knew. We didn't know anything more. But now there's more details that have come up about this offer. And it seems that Qatar have offered Barcelona 120 million euros per year, not total, per year, to have a team named FC Barcelona in the Qatari league. I'll say that again because this is freaking boo. Qatar are offering Barcelona 120 million euros per year to have a franchise team named FC Barcelona with the same jersey, same colors, same crest, same everything in the Qatari league. Now, the reason why Qatar are doing this is because they're trying to compete with Saudi Arabia. You know, they're looking over to their neighbors. They're seeing all the money Saudi Arabia are spending on bringing all these players. So Qatar don't want to be left behind. They want to compete with them. So they made Barcelona this offer, kind of like to take advantage of what Barcelona brand is. You know, instead of spending hundreds and hundreds of millions of euros on players, they rather just bring the Barcelona brand, and that in itself would boost the Qatari League. And that is why they've made that offer. Now, this is separate from the offer that I talked about in yesterday's video, which was the 100 million euros from Qatar Holdings LLC. That would have been more of a sponsorship agreement between Barcelona and Qatar Holdings. It would be more like, you know, kind of like what Barcelona have with Spotify, like where Qatar Holdings LLC would become a main sponsor. And those 100 million euros would be paid over several years. So that's a separate deal from the 120 million euros per year to have a franchise team in the Qatari League. Now, John Laporta and the board of directors are currently studying this offer. If this offer were to be approved, it would first have to be approved by the board of directors first. Then the board of directors would have to bring it to all the members of the club in a general assembly, explain what the plan is, and then vote on it. And it would have to be approved by all the club members because remember, Barcelona is a club owned by its members, not by some corporations or by the public. So this would have to be approved on a massive level. This is not something that Laporta can do on his own. Now, there is doubts about this plan. And I'll tell you why. On one hand, it's a lot of money, and this could be exactly what could get Barcelona out of the financial trouble it's in. But the doubts is how much control is Barcelona going to have over this franchise team in Qatar? And that's the fear, because Barcelona do not want to lose control over their own club. If they have a franchise team, they want to have control over it. But the question is, how much control are the Qataris going to want to give Barcelona, right? So this is the one doubt. This is something that's going to have to be discussed in long period of time in lots of details with the Qataris, because Barcelona don't want to lose control of the club. Even if it's a franchise team that's in a different country, they still want control over it, because at the end of the day, it's going to be their name, their crest, their colors on this team. So it's going to be representative of the Barcelona brand, and Barcelona want to control what their brand is associated with. So that's the only doubt about this deal. Of course, this is not new in football. Citigroup, who are the company that owns Manchester City, they've done this. They've actually the ones who revolutionized this in the football world. They have teams all over the world. It's not just Manchester City. They own, I think it's Girona in La Liga. They have New York FC here in New York City, where I'm at. They have teams in Japan, India, Australia, Uruguay, China. They have teams all over the world. So this is nothing new, but it's good to know that Barcelona would have the chance of doing something similar. All right, so let's get back to the comment section. We'll get a discussion going, and then we'll talk about an official offer for Kessie that the club have received. All right, I forgot my mouse is still dead. Okay, let's use the trackpad to scroll up and see where did we leave off. Sander says we can't sign Arda Guler this season. Okay, hold off. I will talk about Arda Guler. That's in today's news. So hold on to that thought, and then we'll talk about it. Dorza says, how rich is Laporta? I don't know, but I mean, good for him, right? Abbas says, Mo, how is Barcelona financial crisis? I heard that the debt is still the same since Bartomeu. Yes, the debt is still at 1.3 billion euros. I talked about this in a previous video. The club have been working really hard to reduce that debt. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to, because the club, even though Bartomeu was out, they're still dealing with a lot of his horrible decisions. You know, for example, all the high salaries that they were dealing with, you know, Griezmann, Coutinho, Dembele up until his renewal, you know, all those salaries, Barcelona were still paying for them until they offloaded those players. You know, there was Piqué, Busquets, Alba, all those high salaries Barcelona were still paying for. And even now, there's still players on the team who are still earning high salaries from the Bartomeu era, such as Frankie de Jong, Mark ter Stegen. There's Clement Lenglet, who hopefully the club will offload pretty soon. So that's why they haven't been able to reduce the debt. All right, Ibrahim says, my bro, Mo, Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak, my friend. For those of you who don't know, today is Eid, which is a special holiday for Muslims. It's, I don't know how much you know about the Bible or the Quran or whichever. It's when God asked Abraham to sacrifice his son and then said, never mind, here's a sheep, sacrifice this instead. Anyways, Let's not get a veer off the topic. Brand says, does the bond secured by the board mean that the players are guaranteed to be signed? Not signed, registered. So this is, we're talking about the players whose contract still need to be registered, like Araujo, Sergi, Marcos Alonso, and Balde. Okay. Brad says, is the Qatari team that wants to be renamed any good? We don't know about what details about what Qatari team would it be, if it will be a team that's going to be renamed or if it's going to be a brand new team. We don't know that yet. All we know is that Barcelona have received that 120 million euro offer. All right. Speaking of Arabs who spend a lot of money, let's talk about Franck Kessie, because in yesterday's video, I mentioned that the Saudis had turned their attention on Franck Kessie and were considering making an offer. And well, lo and behold, today the official offer arrived. The Saudi club Al Ahly have offered Barcelona 20 million euros for Franck Kessie, and they've offered the player himself a 10 million euro salary. Now, it's reported that the player and his agent have been in contact with Al Ahly directly, and it seems that they're pressuring Al Ahly to make a better offer because, given all the money that the Saudis are spending on all these players, they think that they can get a better offer for Kessie. So, having said this, there's no official confirmation, but if Kessie and his agent are negotiating and are pressuring for a higher offer, that tells you that the player is considering it, that Kessie is considering it, because if he wasn't, they would have just said, sorry, don't call again, hang up. But if his agent is actually trying to negotiate a higher offer, seems that Franck Kessie would be willing to leave Barcelona to Al Ahly as long as the Al Ahly offer him a higher salary. Now, I personally believe 20 million for Franck Kessie is too low. I think we can get 30 million, especially how much Saudis are paying for players. I think 30 million is more adequate. But nonetheless, Franck Kessie arrived for free. So even if we get $1 million, that's pure profit. Obviously, we're not. That would be stupid to sell him for $1 million. But any money that we get for Kessie would be 100% profit. We don't have to account for how much money we pay for him because we didn't pay any money. Now, this is not the only offer that Barcelona have for him. We talked about there's a lot of interest in the Serie A for Franck Kessie. There's interest in the Premier League. And it seems that Chelsea have officially reached out to Kessie and his entourage. Looks like Pochettino is a big fan of Franck Kessie and would like to have him on his team. So there's also interest from Chelsea, which is great news for Barcelona because the more offers there are, the more it drives up the price. And that, of course, is beneficial for Barcelona, who are looking to offload Franck Kessie. And they're hoping to offload him before June 30th because, again, they need to count that in their fiscal year so they can have a better wage limit for next season. But I don't know if it's going to happen in 2 days. But who knows? Mateo Alemany, this guy is a miracle worker. So we'll have to see. So, offer from Al Hilal, strong interest from Chelsea. We'll see what happens with Franck Kessie, who looks like he's now open to the idea of leaving because it seems that Xavi Hernandez called him and said, hey, look, if you stay, I would count on you. But look, Gundogan just arrived. So if you didn't get much playing time last season, you're going to get even less this upcoming season. So it looks like Kessie is open to the idea of leaving. Let's see where he leaves, and let's see how much money can Barcelona squeeze out of this transfer. Let's get back to the comment section, and then we'll talk about another midfielder, Brozovic. There is some news about him. And let's see. Brad says, hit the like button. Yes, guys, please. There's 150 people watching. Only 41 likes. That's not even a quarter. Or is it a quarter? It is a quarter. Sorry, my math is bad. So let's make it 150 people watching with 150 likes. Okay, let's see. Where did we leave off? Curtis says, I don't trust Tebas. I wouldn't be surprised that he's changing the financial fair play rule to assist Real Madrid in spending more as Mbappe may be available now. I mean, honestly, I would not doubt it 1 second because if there's anything we know about Tebas is that he is corrupt as they come. Betty Guerra says, hello, that's my mama. So say hello to my mama. By the way, she's a huge supporter of the channel. She's not a Barca fan, but she watches all the videos or the live stream. She probably knows more about Barca than most Barcelona fans. Okay, let's see. Where did one more, and then we'll hit back. Dark Knight says, Kessie is promising. I wish Barca was in good financial state to keep him. Yeah, I mean, if Barca was in better financial, they would definitely keep him. Unfortunately, he was someone who was good off the bench in some matches, wasn't really good when he started. So, to keep someone who you could sell for 30 million euros just so he can have a few moments here and there is just simply not ideal, especially given the financial situation. All right, let's see. Brozovic. Let's talk about Brozovic because it looks like he is delaying his decision to move to Saudi. So there's hope. There's hope that he might sign for Barcelona. We talked about this a lot. Brozovic, it looks like he was all set and done. He was ready to move to Saudi. He had his bags packed. He had bought sunscreen because it's hot in Saudi Arabia. I'm kidding. But it looked like he was ready to make the move. And then Barcelona called, said, hey, we would like to sign you. So he paused everything, even though Inter Milan had already agreed to the transfer deal with Saudi Arabia. Now, the problem with Brozovic is that Barcelona have to offload players first before they can make him any official offers. And that's where the problem lies, whether the player would be willing to wait for Barcelona or not. This is why Barcelona did not sign Sofiane Amrabat, because Amrabat was not willing to wait for the club. So they said, okay, then have a good day. So, but it looks like Brozovic so far is delaying the decision to go to Saudi. So there is hope that he could wait for Barcelona to sign him. Now, yesterday, Brozovic posted on his Instagram account a story that said, stay tuned. Said more to come, stay tuned, and a bunch of laughing emojis. Now, we don't know exactly what it is. It's a little bit cryptic, but there are signs that Brozovic could end up waiting for Barcelona to offload players and make him the signing. And that's, of course, good news. Now, Barcelona need to come up with around 17 to 20 million euros to offer to Inter Milan in order for this transfer to happen. Let's see what happens. Those 17 to 20 million euros Barcelona do have. But again, what they need to do is offload players because what they don't have is margin on the wage bill. So let's see what happens, because out of all the options that we've discussed, honestly, Brozovic is the most decent one for that pivot position. All right, let's get back to the comment section, and then we'll talk about two youngsters, Ivan Fresneda and Arda Guler. There's updates about both of them. So let's see what's going on. Oh my God, I keep forgetting my mouse is not working. All right, where did we leave off? Ricardo says, hey, I made it to Barca News Live today. Thank you for making it. Okay. Brad says Brozovic will still need sunscreen in Barcelona. Yes, he will, but not as much in Saudi Arabia as Saudi Arabia. Abbas says, Mo, what do you think about this statement which is said by Messi to Mbappe? I would want you to come to Barcelona, but if you want to come to Madrid, then do it because you deserve Real and winning pro. Honestly, I don't know if there's no confirmation that he said that for sure. I'm sure Messi told him to go to Barca, whether he told him to go to Madrid or not. I mean, it doesn't matter. I like to stick to Barcelona news, Barcelona players. Whatever Messi said to Mbappe, it's beyond my purview. Okay. Ikachua says, would Gundogan play preseason? Yes, Gundogan is scheduled to travel with Barcelona to the U.S. to play the preseason. There's hopes that Vitor Roque will also be included. It all depends on how fast Barcelona can offload players. By the way, there is news about Vitor Roque, so stick around in case you want to hear it. Bruce says, Barcelona for life. I love you so much, my lovely club in the world. I share your sentiment. Visca Barça. And let's get back to the news, because there is news about Ivan Fresneda. I talked about Ivan Fresneda several videos. He's the 18-year-old right back, one of the most promising right backs in Spanish football so far. He plays for Real Valladolid, who just got relegated to second division. So naturally, the player is looking to leave because he doesn't want to play in the second division. Now, he does have a 20 million euro release clause, and Barcelona have officially reached out to him and his agents. They sat down, they had a meeting. Barcelona let him know, hey, we're interested in you. We want to sign you. However, they also let him know that, hey, you're not number one priority. The number one priority right now is the pivot. But if we were to sign a right back, you're definitely on top of the list. Now, the deal is that for Barcelona to sign Ivan Fresneda, Real Valladolid would have to reduce that 20 million euro release clause. And the player would have to be, would have to want to choose Barcelona, because there's a lot of interest in him from all over Europe. And again, just like the case with several other players, Barcelona cannot afford to get into some kind of wage, some bidding with other clubs. So if Fresneda wants to come to Barcelona, great. He would have to choose Barcelona. If not, if he wants some kind of auction, that's not going to happen. Barcelona cannot afford to be bidding and outbidding other clubs. Now, Fresneda did reject the first offer he has received, which is from Dortmund. And it seems it's because Fresneda is prioritizing right now a footballing project over money. Right now, Fresneda does not care about the money. He wants to go to a team where he knows he's going to get playing time because he knows he's 18 years old. He needs to play so he can develop and he can grow. So he wants a team that will give him those playing time. And that is why he rejected Dortmund, because there's a lot of competition there on the right back position. It's also being said that Ivan Fresneda is kind of afraid of making a move to the Premier League. There's a lot of interest for him in the Premier League for the same exact reason. He doesn't want to go to a team and just be on the bench most of the time. He wants a team that can guarantee him minute. Not necessarily a starting position, but at least minute. Now, this is favorable for Barcelona. Why? Because Barcelona don't have anyone in the right back position. So if Ivan Fresneda is serious about, prioritizing playing minutes over money, Barcelona will be the great place for him because there's nobody in the right back position. So he can have as much playing time as possible as long as he really doesn't care about the money, because if that's the case, Barcelona don't have any, right? Now, Barcelona are still in contact with his agent. It looks like they're having conversations on a regular basis. The agent is keeping Barcelona updated about all the offers that the player is receiving. So there is a chance that Barcelona could sign Ivan Fresneda. But again, Barcelona first need to finalize the signing of Vitor Roque, sign a pivot, and then if they have space left on the wage bill, then they'll look at the right back. And in that case, it would be Ivan Fresneda, their number one option. Okay, let's get back to the comment section, and then we'll talk about Arda Guler, because I get a lot of questions about Arda Guler, and now I do have an update for you about the Turkish Messi. Okay, Estada says, what do you think about Barcelona today? Promotion and rise color flags. Are you talking about pride? I mean, I don't know. There's not much to say. It's Pride Month, and Barcelona wants to celebrate it. Let's see. Well, else? Anthony Bustamante says, I heard Arda Guler wants to play in Madrid like Ozil. I have news about him. So stay tuned. Let's see. Noble says, I wish Barcelona is doing more than we are hearing, because sometimes we hear positive things about the club and it comes out to be false. I don't know what you're talking about. Bruce says, I want Barcelona to sign up young, talented superstar player Arda Guler and many more young stars. Okay, let's talk about Arda Guler, because this news really is not that new, because I had talked about it in a previous video, and now it's just been confirmed by more major media outlets. And that's that Barcelona, yes, they are interested in Arda Guler. They are in the pursuit of the player, but the player and his agent have different plans. Even though they are thankful that Barcelona and Madrid are very interested in him, they're looking to move the player to a team that's not as big as these two. And the reason why is because Arda Guler is still 18 years old. He's still learning. He's still developing. He's still growing. So his agent, his entourage, and the player himself would rather go to a smaller team, not a small team, but a smaller team than Madrid and Barcelona, because they want him to play as many minutes as possible. They want him to be important in whatever team he arrives. They want him to be a starter. And they know that Madrid and Barcelona, that's not going to happen. In Barcelona, we have Pedri, we have Gavi, Frankie, now we have Gundogan. It's not going to happen. He's not going to be a starter. He's not going to play 90 minutes of every match if Arda Guler comes. Real Madrid, the same thing. They just signed Bellingham. They're trying to sign, all kinds of players. Same thing. So it looks like they're more inclined to go to a smaller team. I talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago. I got some comments saying that was false, that I was lying, blah, blah. But now it's being confirmed again from the agent himself, which goes to show I never share news that I haven't been confirmed 3, 4, 5 times over, because that's just not the business that I'm in. I'm not here to sell you fake stories just so I can get likes and subscriptions. So Barcelona are interested in Arda Guler. but they cannot offer him what he's asking. The player is asking for guarantees that he would be a starter, and that's something that Barcelona simply cannot offer him. If Arda Guler wants to come to Barcelona without those guarantees, then he's more than welcome. If he insists on that guarantees, then Barcelona are going to have to move on because they cannot give him that guarantee that he will be a starter on the first squad. Okay, so let's get back to the comment section, and then we'll end with quick news about Vitor Roque, since we are talking about youngsters coming to Barcelona. I hope I don't butcher your name. Olu Paremo Daniel says, is Inigo Martinez signed yet? No news about him. Inigo Martinez, the deal is complete. You know, he's a free agent. Everything's agreed to between him and the club. Barcelona is just waiting to clear some space on the wage bill to make it official. And the reason why he hasn't been announced yet is because Ilkay Gundogan really wanted guarantees ASAP, or he was going to renew with Manchester City. So Barcelona, preferred to sign him because they know that Inigo Martinez is willing to wait as long as possible. So since Inigo Martinez is willing to wait, they were like, okay, you wait. Let's sign this other guy who's not willing to wait. Okay, let's see. Brad says, is every player out of Turkey called the next Messi? Yeah, pretty much. I think that's their marketing strategy. Bruce says, even to sign João Mendes' son to Ronaldo. I don't understand your comment. If you want to elaborate, that'd be great. Anthony says, sir, I believe you. Only the best use. Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. And Kev says, love what you're doing with the channel. Keep it up, Mo. Thank you, guys. And let's get back to the last bit of news. It's very short, and that way will give us more time to just keep focusing on the comment section. And this news is about Vitor Roque, because yesterday he played again in the Libertadores, which is the Champions League equivalent of South America. He scored 2 goals. He actually scored them against my team, against my second team. I have another team. That's not Barcelona. So I was very conflicted. I didn't know whether to be sad because my team just got scored on, or whether to be happy because Vitor Roque is a beast and he's coming to Barcelona. But he scored 2 goals, and ever since it's been announced that he's going to come to Barcelona, he's been just a goal-scoring machine. All the media outlets in Brazil have noticed it. They're all talking about how his improved performance. He has now scored 18 goals in 24 matches. Guys, that's amazing numbers, A, for an 18-year-old, and B, for an 18-year-old who plays in a crappy team, because Atlético Paranaense are not good in the Brazilian league. They're trash. So the fact that he can put up those numbers in a trash team, that's huge, guys. That's huge, because imagine him playing in Barcelona with the likes of Pedri, Frankie, Gundogan, Dembele making them passes. I mean, if he can score 18 goals in 24 matches in a crappy team, you just think about what he can do surrounded by real talent that can get him the ball in the box. But that's not the news that he scored 2 goals. We all know he's a goal-scoring machine. That's why Barcelona signed him. The news is that it was confirmed by his own mother that, yes, the deal is ready. She posted on her social media outlet talking about how she was proud of him for signing for Barcelona. So if you had any slightest doubt that this wasn't going to happen, just be assured that Vitor Roque's own mother has confirmed it. So Vitor Roque is coming to Barcelona. He will be signing a contract until 2029. So that's a 6-year contract. Is my math right? My math is right. Barcelona are going to pay 35 million euros fixed plus 10 million euros in variables. And he's going to have a 1 billion euro release clause. And he's only going to receive 3 million euro salary, which is the lowest bracket on the pay scale that Laporta and his board of directors have implemented at the club. So that's all the news, guys. Let's head to the comment section. We still have several more minutes to get a discussion going. But before that, there's 166 people watching, only 81 likes. That's half. Let's make it even. Also, as always, I'll put timestamps in the description. I'll add chapters to the timeline. For those of you who don't like to watch long stream videos, you can navigate through the video and get to the news that you want to hear. Okay, now that we have several minutes left, let's see what you guys are saying. Where did we leave off? So, I don't know how to say that name, but it's YNFYNYT. Says, I wonder if any of this Qatar business would influence the transfer window. Only if it's approved before June 30th, because June 30th is when the fiscal year closes. Then it's presented to La Liga, and based on those reports, La Liga issues the new wage limits. But I highly, 99% doubt it that something that big would be approved that fast. So Scroll says, Alianza Lima fan. Yes, my family are all fans of Alianza Lima. As a kid, I used to go to the stadium and watch the matches. So yeah. Let's see. What else? Bruce says, yes, Vitor is a scoring machine. Indeed. Anthony says he got pumped about Barca and said, let me score some more. Pretty much. That's exactly what's been happening. Ibrahim says, how's Balde recovery? Balde recovery is going good. No updates, obviously, because nothing to update, but it's going as planned. It's going good. You know, he's 18 years old. Young players heal a lot better. And his injury wasn't that serious. He just needed time. Let's see. Ikichua says, can Vitor Roque play as a winger too? Yes, he can play as a winger, both sides, right and left, and as a center forward. But of course, his specialty is center forward. Nima says, someone please leave Barca. Yes, please. Jeeb says, do we have a backup for Balde at the left back? Yes, it's Marcos Alonso. Abbas, I'm sorry, my friend, but where's that flag from? Geography is not my strongest subjects. Nima says, hope Frankie reduces his salary. Me too. The club are leaving it in the players' hands. They don't want to force any players to reduce their salary, but hopefully he does too. Young Baron says, when is Kimmich coming? The answer is never. Maxito says, welcome home, Vitor. And I think that's it. No more comments. Maybe one more. Isaac says, I think that's how you read that. Don't get me started with Marcos Alonso left back thingy. All right, we won't get you started. All right, guys. Thank you. 1,000 times thank you for tuning in, for your likes, for your comments, for everything. I will see you in tomorrow's video. As always, Visca Barça.